Alright, so I apologize if this video is late. The one I did yesterday didn't have sound, and I just now have time to get it fixed. So we're going to spend this entire week on section 2.4, but today we're going to go through the first two methods of solving quadratic equations. So quadratic equations are equations with a second degree polynomial. So that means the highest power is going to be like x squared. So the first method we're going to do is solving by factoring. So when we're doing this method, we always have to have our equation set equal to 0. And then we're just going to take this polynomial here on the left and we're going to factor it. So in this case, we're looking for factors of 81 that are going to add up to 24. So our factors of 81 are 1 and 81, 3 and 27, and 9 and 9. So this sign here, again, tells us we need one of each sign, or two different signs. I was trying to say both of those and combine it together. So we'll have to have a -3 and +27. So that means our two factors are x plus 27 and x minus 3. Now, to get our two solutions, right, because quadratic equations must always have two solutions. So we're going to take each of these factors, not my laser pointer, there we go. So take each of these factors and then set them equal to 0 and solve. So we have x plus 27 equals 0. Subtract 27, so x equals -27. And then we have x minus 3 equals 0. So we add 3 to both sides and get x equals 3. Alright, so then in this example, again, remember we need to set it equal to 0 first. So I'm going to move my 15x squared over and move my 4 over. Right, and you want to write it in descending order of exponents, so it's going to become 15x squared. Then I'm going to write my minus 7x, then minus 4 is equal to 0. Then again, we're going to factor the polynomial on the left. So we have to do 15 times 4 to get 60. Then factors of 60 are 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, and 6 and 10. So again, we need one of each sign, and we need to subtract those to get a -7. So that would be a positive 5x and a negative 12x. So remember, we're going to replace our -7x with this here. So we get 15x squared, right, plus 5x minus 12x minus 4 is equal to 0. Then we have to use grouping. So we're going to group the first two, group the second two. So from the first group, we can pull out a greatest common factor of 5x, which leaves us with 3x plus 1. From our second group, we can pull out a -4, leaving us with 3x plus 1. Then our final answer becomes 3x plus 1 times 5x minus 4. All right, and then we need to set both of those factors equal to 0 to solve. So we have 3x plus 1. So we're going to subtract our 1, get 3x equals -1, divide by 3. So for this one, x is going to equal -1/3. And then for this factor, we have 5x minus 4 equal to 0. Add 4. And then 5x equals 4, divide by 5. So x equals 4/5. So these are going to be the two solutions to our quadratic equation. All right, and then for this last example I want to do for the factoring method is when you don't have a constant term. So that means that both terms that you have a variable. So the only way we can factor here is by pulling out a greatest common factor. So in this case, that greatest common factor is x. So you're going to pull out an x, leaving you with x plus 3. And then we're still going to set each of those factors, which are x and x plus 3, equal to 0 to get our two solutions. So we get x equals 0, which we don't have to do anything with. Then we get x plus 3 equals 0, subtract 3, and we get x equals negative 3. All right, so the other method of factoring we did is called extracting the root. Not the other method of factoring. The other method of solving quadratic equations is extracting the root. So we use this method when we don't have an x term or a linear term. So when we have something such as 3x squared minus 4 equals 71. So there's no x by itself. We only have x squared. So to solve these types of problems, we're going to get x squared by itself on one side of the equation. So this works just like solving linear equations at this point. So we're going to add 4 to both sides, which leaves us with 3x squared equals 75. Then we're going to divide by 3, which gives us x squared equals 25. Then to get rid of that exponent, we're going to have to take the square root of both sides, which means x is 5. Now, remember, quadratic equations have to have two solutions. So we're going to make this plus or minus 5 because let's think about this for just a minute. So the square root of 25 is 5, right? So that means 5 times 5 is 25. Negative 5 times negative 5 is also equal to positive 25. So that's why we have the positive and negative 5 as our two solutions for this equation. So whenever we take the square root of a number while solving an equation, we have to include that plus or minus symbol in front of that square root.